Welcome to an Excel Basics lesson. When starting to learn how to use Excel, the good thing is to build a really good foundation of the basics of what Excel can do, what you can use it for, and all the different functions. Today we can just jump into having a look at what we can see on the screen and what functions we've got on the ribbon. So first things first, you can see that this white section here where I've entered a small amount of data, these are where all your cells are. These, you can see that the columns are all lettered from through the alphabet, A to Z, and then it starts with double A, and then all the rows are numbered, as you can see down the rows there. So I wanted to talk through today what you can do quite simply just using your mouse. So first in this sheet, you can see here at the bottom it's indicated sheet 1. So I just wanted to show you a few different options. So I've entered a little bit of information here, a small shopping list of fruit, the quantity of fruit that I bought, the cost of each item, and the total. So what we're going to do is you're going to use some of this home ribbon to improve what we've got here. So first things first, let's work on the clipboard section. The column B doesn't actually fit all the words in. So if we just highlight here, hold the mouse just here and double click, we can extend that row. Also, if you wanted to make it a little bit bigger, if you click and hold and drag, you can change the size. You can also click and hold and put that back. So you can actually choose the column size. There are some other options to do that, but when you from a basic level to get started, this is a really good way. So just using your mouse to move around the screen, and you can click into the different cells and you can pick a cell and you can start typing. So let's say, for example, here we want to add the fruit of the week, and let's say this week it's apple. So we can just enter into the cell and type. As we type, it also, you can see it up here and here in the cell. And then what we can do, and then we can just type in the cost of an apple. As we can see, it's 50p. So we can type 50p there. So let's have a jump in and let's get back up to this clipboard section and see what we can do. So in this first section, what we've got is a paste, which is blocked out, cut, copy, and format. So let's have a choose a copy and paste. So let's delete this out here that we've typed in, and let's say that this week now the fruit of the week is the banana. So what we can do is highlight on banana, click copy, go over to fruit of the week, click into the cell, and then click paste. As you can see, paste is now available. When you hover over, it will also give you your quick keys, which I will include in another video. So now we've copied banana. Now we need to copy the cost. So if we go across and we find the cost, there we are. We highlight 47p. We can copy that, go into there in the cell where we want it, and we can click paste. So we've now used the copy and paste function. So also we have the other option, which is called cut. So when we copy and paste, it actually leaves the data where it is and makes a copy of it. If you use cut, it actually cuts the text. So here, if we click cut, and then we go over to where we want it, we just click the cell and we're going to paste. Oh, sorry, let's try that again. We go over to the grapefruit, we click cut, select the cell where we want it, click paste. It is now taken grapefruit from the list and added it here. So if we wanted to move that back, we can use a cut, click in the cell and paste. So there, very quickly inside the clipboard section, we've been able to use the copy, the cut, and the paste. Your next option is your format painter. So the format painter is good if you have set some formatting. So let's have a look at that. So to use a format painter, you need to amend your format. So let's have a look here. So let's say we wanted to change the size of the font. So let's say we select item, and we can go up here, and there's two ways to increase your font size. You can either click on the letters here, so the small a makes it smaller, and the large A increases the size. So if we click that, we click, and as we do that, you can also see here in this the font size drop down. It's changing the size here. So you have two options to increase and decrease your size. You can either use the letters or the drop down and change. So let's say we go with 16. So now we've changed the word item to a font size 16, we want to change the rest of it. What we can do is click the format printer, and we can highlight the whole section by clicking with the left mouse and dragging. Once we've done that, it's increased the font size. And then if we would like to resize the columns, we can just highlight them all, hover between the E and the F or any two columns, and you can see this indicator when you get the two arrows with a line in between. Double click there, and you've now got a resize. The format printer also works if you was to use the colors. So right below the fonts, you've got a fill, which fills the cell, and then you've got the font color, which changes the color of your text. If you hover over these items, you can get a clear indicator of what it's doing. So let's try. So currently it's indicated to yellow. So let's click the drop down here, and we can choose. So currently there's two modes. So this is the high contrast only mode. We take that off, or the standard. So what we can do is we can pick a color. So I'm going to pick blue, and click that. And as soon as I've clicked that, where the cell is now highlighted blue, we can use the format printer and we can drag that across. And now we have added a blue color to our header. So we're inside of here, there's a selection of different colors that range. If you don't see anything you like in this range, or you don't see anything you like in in the high contrast, what you can do is you can go to your more colors, and you can select from your color wheel, and it will show you the color. Once you've selected the color, you click OK, and then it will change the color. If you want to, so let's say let's say we don't want to use the color here, or we would like to continue the color for the full list. Let's copy the full list and make that blue. It's as easy as that. So you've got so many different choices. So now we've used the cell fill. Let's highlight the whole row of fruit. Let's go into the font color, and let's click the high contrast, and it will offer some options that suit best with the color. There we go. So we've now changed the color of the font. So also what we can do to increase the to make the header stand out is use the different functions we've got here. So we have bold, italic, and underline. So all you do to use this option is to click. So that is now we've made the item bold. We can re-highlight and click the italic and make it italic, and then click the underline to underline. You can also reverse that by clicking the same buttons as you press them. So I'm going to leave the bold because I quite like that for my header. And then what I'd like to do is I'd like to add a border to these cells. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of them. I'm going to use this drop down here in the font section to add border. Currently it says no border. There's nothing indicated. We can drop down, and so you can choose from the selection here, and it indicates what border it will add. I want to add all borders, so I'm going to select this here. Once I've done that, it adds a border around everything. So next we can look at different fonts. The Calibri is one of the most popular fonts, but all you want to do if you want to change the font, you can select everything here. We can go to the font selector here. We do the drop down, and we can pick the font text. I would recommend Calibri or Arial or Aptos. So if we go down, you can see Aptos. We can see Calibri here. We can scroll down, and this is a really large list. So what we're going to do is let's select Aptos. If you can't find it in the list, you can also type in here and it will find it for you. So I'm going to go back to Aptos and press enter, and it's resized. So there we go. And now we've changed the font. We just need to resize these columns again. So we're going to highlight them all, double click, and it's resized. So quite quickly, we've been able to set some basic foundations of using typing into Excel, typing into the sheet. We've used the clipboard section, and we've used the font section. What I recommend is go away and have a practice with these new skills that you've learned, and let's see you in the next video.